Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today is a first for me in a couple ways. I'm nearly at 250 subscribers, so I'm announcing the 250 subscriber giveaway, and what I've decided is, at least to start off, there's going to be one prize of 1,000 doubloons and one of 500. All you have to do to be eligible is be subscribed to the channel and comment below this video anything you want to say. Kind of like that last one, I'd prefer if you had constructive criticism for me, Tell me what you enjoy about videos that I make and what you feel I could improve on. I know a comment for a long time was my volume for a bit there was way out of whack, and I think I've got that fixed, but once again, I can only fix things when I know about them. And the way I find out is from you, my subscribers, just being honest, and I do appreciate it. But there's no requirement to say anything specific. You can just say count me in or me and you'll be just as eligible. And I know it's not the biggest giveaway, but it's out of my pocket, as all of mine have been. So unfortunately, I'm not a millionaire. I wish I were, because that would be pretty sweet. For this game, though, it's actually going to be... This is my first game I've ever shared of me driving a carrier. I'm in the Tier 7 Premium American carrier, the Saipan, which I absolutely love, and I think this game may be up there with some of the most damage I've ever done. And you can see I sent some torpedo bombers into a bit of a beehive as far as anti-air goes there. But with the Saipan, I find I can do that. I can afford to exchange some of my planes because you've got a pretty deep pool with 18 extras, in reserve of both fighter and torpedo bombers. So I'm willing to exchange, one or two planes for some damage. And I find if I do that consistently throughout a battle, I normally still have planes left by the end, and I've got a lot of damage. But we're going to jump ahead to my next major kill here, as carrier play isn't the most exciting thing, and I just felt this video would be a good enough background for the giveaway announcement. My first kill ended up being on a destroyer, got a torp into him, wiped out a Nicholas, and we've jumped ahead a couple minutes, and I'm about to launch some torps at this Bayern here. First two, one of them's looking good. Almost 9,000 damage and a flood, and I've got a second squadron going in, and even though these are only 3-member squadrons, they still just seem to be able to survive, and I guess it's because they're technically Tier 9 planes. There's the second torp, and I'm up to 41,000 damage with some flooding going. Pretty good battle. As you can see, I haven't really had to engage much with my fighters, and part of what made this game such a strong game is the enemy aircraft carrier just didn't seem to do much. Like, they were definitely there, and I engaged them once or twice, but for the most part, despite being really a better equipped ship, in that Japanese one, and I believe they have the 2, 2, and 2, they're not making use of their superior planes. Plane numbers, I should say. So, once again, jumped forward a little ways in the battle, and you can see I'm just lining up on this Koenig, who really has nowhere to go. If he were to try to turn out to dodge, he'd run aground, and if he turned in, probably run aground as well. And 3 torps and a detonation for 40,000 damage. Not too shabby. That left my second group to go attack this New York here, who's not really moving, and honestly, really good target for a set of torps. And it looks like I'm gonna get only 2 of them, unfortunately. But still, another 12,000 damage. I broke his engine, or his steering, I believe it actually was. And our team's still kind of iffy if we're going to get this or not. And see our Bayern just 8 torps from the Bajoni, and things are not looking particularly up. I've got 2 battleships on my team who are off in the middle of nowhere at sea. They've been there pretty much the whole time. And I'm just trying to do my best to slowly knock out the enemy team. So, another time skip ahead, and another squadron about to attack an enemy battleship. And they're kind of making it a little easy. Unfortunately, you can see some really good AA between that German and American battleship, and only one of the planes gets through. But still enough to get a couple thousand damage, and I carefully drop a second set of torps. Only 2 of them getting into the water that time, unfortunately, but good enough for another torpedo and another 5,000 damage. Sadly, I didn't get any floods there, and it always sucks when you don't get the floods, because when you get them, that helps your team, I think, more than the damage does, because it just forces them to use their repair cooldown, and then, you know, friendly Atlanta there could just go to town with HE and burn things down. But our team is behind, only 30 points now. We just went ahead on ships, and you know what? Things are starting to look good. I'm confident that with the 8 torpedo planes I have remaining, I can definitely wipe out these battleships, and their CV still hasn't really done anything to oppose me. So I get those torpedo bombers back in the air and send them straight back to the battleships for the damage. And it's kind of funny, I find, watching the carrier game after the fact, because when you're doing it, you feel like you've got a million things going on, but just watching in post-battle, it's like, oh, look at all this time where nothing's happening. And I think I can get where, same with Artie in tanks, where some players who just don't play them maybe don't get that it can be a little difficult to manage all the planes. I know at the higher tiers I definitely have difficulty keeping track of all my tier 8 Japanese carrier groups, to the point where I forget some of them sometimes. Hoping for both those to hit, but only end up getting one of them in. So another 2 torpedoes, and I'm up to 116,000 damage. And there's definitely still a lot of damage on the board for me to take. So let's jump ahead to the next volley of torps. Here we are, torps are in the water, and you can see those are going to hit. There's another kill, and I've got another squadron to use. So I'm going to go after that Byron, who's now all alone. And 1 BB alone, even if it's full to the gill with AA, isn't really going to hurt my squadrons at all. So I take my time, I can set up properly, I put the torps into the water. They end up getting, I think, 1 before the torps actually dropped. And they turn, but there's my high caliber and another flood. You can see the damage starting to tick up, and I really do wish that flood had stuck, but clearly the Byron had its damage control ready, and no such luck for me. This one is almost done. Another torpedo squadron going in at that Byron, and I'm not even really going to watch them. I get another 2 floodings, and look how quickly that damage ticks down, except it isn't. I wish I could have kept those floods. But I think something is flooding. They must be repairing to counter that or something. And they're gonna be dead soon, leaving just their carrier and a Nagato for me to pick on. You can see pretty much out of planes here now too. This is what I was talking about at the start, is I find I can just, over the period of the game, slowly exchange, you know, my planes for damage. And if you time it right and you're not too reckless, you end up getting a lot of damage out before you run out, and you're pretty much running out of planes right as the game's ending. So I now have my last squadron of torpedo bombers up in the air, 30 seconds left. There's no reason to save them, so I'm going for the Nagato for a little bit of bonus damage here before the game is over. And for whatever reason, their carrier still just completely leaves me alone, which is beyond me. We're about to cap out, the game's about to end on time, and I'm about to get 2 more torpedoes to round out my damage. And there it is, end of the game, 292,000 credits, 6,500 experience, devastating strike, high caliber, 170,000 damage. Definitely putting this game up there with some of the best I've had as far as just raw damage. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, consider giving a thumbs up. And remember, all you gotta do to be included in the draw for some of those doubloons is be a subscriber on my channel and comment below. And as I said at the start, it can be anything, though I do prefer kind of constructive criticism because it helps me improve my channel and continue on and get new subscribers because my content is better than it would have been had I not asked for it. As always, I am Qckslvrslash, and I'll have another one for you guys later.